Your health and all the bad habits that you pursue in the pursuit of hard work will actually extremely negatively affect whether or not you are going to accomplish the goals that you seek to accomplish. This is something I've been thinking about a ton for the last year and something I've been working on tremendously. So, over the past 5 years, basically, I have thought that the solution to every single problem was just to work 12, 15 hours a day, just work extremely hard at whatever goal I was pursuing in that moment. In the pursuit of working extremely hard, you can actually develop extremely bad habits that result in making bad decisions. And now, when I actually look back at the business over the past 5 years, 7 years, this is something where when I look back at what's actually made the business work, and what's made it not work is the bad and good decisions that I was making during those periods. So the real hinge point was not working extremely hard, but actually making clear decisions when the time came. What do I mean by that? By forming bad habits from working extremely hard or thinking that hard work was the only thing that meant success. Okay, so I would say in business at a certain level, the four primary things that actually, in the pursuit of working extremely hard, bad habits that form are amphetamines and Adderall, stimulants such as energy drinks or too much coffee. We have also a lack of focus on health, so eating extremely unhealthy and not focusing on exercise or foods, and then also sleep deprivation. Now, I'm sure most people are not doing all four of these, but some definitely are. Why these are so bad is that they kind of cascade up top of one another. What this is going to do is doing these things is basically creating a chronic amount of stress in your life. You've chronically raised cortisol levels for extended periods of time. I've had experience doing a lot of these things basically I had a 2-year period of doing lots of the things, and what happens is you have basically a chronic level of stress. Now, the sleep deprivation also is going to manifest from doing these things as well. If you're doing amphetamines or energy drinks, now energy drinks have 300 milligrams of caffeine in them and tons of taurine for absorbing significant amounts of B vitamins. It's going to keep you up extremely late or basically disrupt your REM sleep significantly. When you also have disrupted sleep, that's going to raise your stress levels. When you're using amphetamines, which are a central nervous system stimulant, that's going to raise your cortisol levels and take, crazy amounts of B vitamins, far more than the body needs. You have that taurine to force yourself to absorb it. You're also eating tons of sugar, eating tons of unhealthy food. It's easy to justify all these behaviors in the pursuit of some kind of success within business because it seems like if I do these things, it'll help me work harder. If I can work harder, that will increase my likelihood of success. So what I'm saying is that increasing these things that seem like it will increase the likelihood of success are actually going to far decrease it. The choice to eat unhealthy, the choice to have that extra energy drink, the choice to miss out on sleep by having an energy drink at, let's say, 7 p.m., 8 p.m., just to get a couple more hours of lackluster work done because you're already sleep deprived and stimulated out and you're just not ready to go. Okay, now having these chronic levels of stress increased will also increase bad habits. When we are extremely stressed, usually we search for some kind of cure. So these are escapism tactics such as drinking, unhealthy eating, any other type of drug, or any other escapism, whether it's watching TV, doing too much nicotine, doing tons of sugar, tons of unhealthy food, or door dashing $35 worth of McDonald's or hitting the gas station before you get home from work. These are all things that will come because you've basically stimulated your body and added so many horrible habits in the pursuit of working harder. So in the trucking industry in particular, as well as other blue collar industries, I would say such as construction, HVAC, trucking, warehousing, a lot of times you see these guys who are running these companies for extended periods of time just visibly look extremely unhealthy, right? So a lot of these habits are manifesting. So let's think of this person that we have now manifested, right? This is a person who drinks excessively, eats extremely unhealthy, is doing tons of, let's say, stimulants during work. They are extremely sleep deprived. They are not exercising either. All in the pursuit of work. All these things now, their habits are reducing their amount of energy to actually get the work done. They're also living in this place of non-reality. If you're doing tons of sugar, tons of drinking, you're going to be making worse decisions. Your brain is just not functioning properly, and you're going to get your ass handed to you by the person who is actually a healthy person who can think clearly all the time 10 times out of 10, right? So in order to actually maximize your benefit in operating a business in the pursuit of these little steps that seem like they will help you work significantly harder is actually going to make it significantly worse if you look at the end product not the incremental improvement that you get from one energy drink. Okay, so I'm going to give 3 examples of bad decisions that can be made when your prefrontal cortex and brain are not working properly because you're filling it with poison all day long. Okay, so the first bad decision here would be to expand capacity before demand exists. So this happens in trucking tremendously. When you are not getting the sales that you need, a lot of times guys will get additional trucks or just kind of pedal to the metal. Let's pump up sales to make sure that this thing can all work. A lot of that can manifest from basically living in delusion or living in past markets. It's like, okay, I have 10 trucks, I'm not making a profit, but if I get 5 more, I will make a profit. Or, hey, this product that I'm selling is not making any money. So if I just invest, 50% more into marketing, then it will all of a sudden make money. Versus actually doing the research and making the decisions, okay, how do we basically make the demand exist for the lowest amount of cost possible before we actually increase our capex and lose all this money and put ourselves into debt that we cannot service before we can get the demand to exist? Because I've been in this position before. We've bought trucks before we had the clients to service them. And I promise you, it is an extremely stressful situation when you have to really figure it out at that point. Fortunately we have, but it would have been so much better to actually just wait until the demand manifests itself before you expand your capex. And if you're living in delusion or not thinking clearly, this seems like it could be a good decision because we all get extremely romantic about the businesses or whatever goal it is that we are pursuing. Bad decision number 2 that we can make when we are consuming poison on a daily basis is revealing negative emotions in business or any other type of scenario. In business, you want to show that obviously you can maintain your cool, that you are someone, level-headed to work with, and that you're generally like a good person, right? Because people want to work with good people. What can happen a lot of the time is when you're sleep deprived or stimulated, or like let's put this together. So you've eaten unhealthy for the past 2 weeks. You have had 4 hours of sleep the night before, and then you start the day with Rain energy drink and an Adderall or something. You are going to be so stimulated and so sleep deprived. You're going to experience probably some paranoia from lack of sleep and a little bit of mania. So you're going to be a person who is significantly higher likely to break out into some kind of anger. In these industries, you see this happen. You see this happen all the time with the people who look, I don't want to keep coming at them, but like the people who look less healthy are the ones who are actually the ones who are reacting more intensely because they are not able to control their emotions. When you are super, super sleep deprived, you are far, far more likely to lose your cool in a situation where you shouldn't. Similar to watching someone watch a baseball team and absolutely lose their shit like a 2-year-old child, everyone in the room loses confidence in that person. Because if that person can't contain their emotions, how are they possibly supposed to work with you in a good light? That's problem number 2, is basically the revealing of negative emotions in business situations, whether it be your vendors, whether it be your customers, whether it be, people on your own team. Okay, so example of bad decision number 3 to make is neglecting issues that give you anxiety. So this sounds like something that most tough guys, wouldn't want to admit that I handle things at the time, but really you do not. When you are in a place of increased stress and you are now in the place of escapism, you are now escaping stress. So what stress is basically I'm not handling the thing that I should be handling. So when you're now avoiding the thing that you should be able or should be handling, you're going to have more and more and more issues pile up, and you're going to have more and more things that you are not handling, right? So this is the guy that comes home at 6 p.m. and, breaks out the bottle of Maker's Mark and just tries to forget everything for a little bit. This can happen over and over and over again because basically you just want to not think of the problems that you've been handling all day, that you are also justifying, I deserve to have, this ice cream, or I deserve to have this big, dense sugar carb meal with a couple drinks because I deserve it. I deserve my treat because I've been working so hard all day long. This also cascades, and when you're not handling the things that give you anxiety, it's going to give you more anxiety or more stress, right? For me and for my pursuit of these goals, what I've noticed was that when I quit all of the negative habits entirely, you actually start to clean up the things that you want to clean up, and the stress basically goes away completely. Not completely, but goes down by probably 90%. So the things that you're currently stressed about at 6 p.m., instead of maybe having a couple drinks, you actually handle this problem, or the thing that you want to do, you're actually going to do. At 11 a.m. when you're feeling exhausted because you just had a bunch of snacks and then you're ripping the vape all day long, you're actually feeling like you have a tremendous amount of energy without tons of coffee. And this will happen once you quit all of these horrible things. You will actually pursue doing sales. You will actually pursue not just, avoiding the things that make you anxious is like coming into work and cleaning up your desk, checking all your emails, and doing all the bullshit little tasks that actually do not make a big difference in whether or not you're successful. But it gives you that feeling of task completion that makes you feel like you're doing some work, when in reality, you have to handle the big things and actually get those important things done that have the massive amount of reward, but may include putting yourself out there or leaving yourself up to some failure or dealing with someone that maybe you don't have an incredible relationship with. All in all, this is just advice that, I wish I got, let's say 5 years ago, when a lot of these bad habits that you can pick up seem a lot smaller at the time than when it all kind of manifests itself together. When I was doing stimulants and whatnot, I was not thinking that this was going to manifest in increased cortisol levels at a chronic rate, right? That then would result in bad escapism tactics that would also make the work output significantly worse, right? So it's counterintuitive, but like doing the small things, the small drugs or small whatever that make you seem like you're working harder, getting more done, is actually going to be counterproductive to the goal that you are in pursuit of. What I would recommend is just quitting. If you're not happy with where you are, or if you're trying to accomplish more in life, or you're trying to be more there for your family, friends, more there for your business, more there for the people around you, I think that to do this, you need more energy and you need to think clearly. I think that's fair. In order to do those things, I would say quitting drinking, quitting nicotine, quitting all these things, eating all natural foods, not excessively eating in the morning, are all extremely good things to pursue, as well as good sleep. Basically, going to sleep at the same time every single night and getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep every single night will make a world of difference for you versus getting that extra 3 hours of work in or staying up for 3 days in a row working. Now, there are times where you need to do that if you have like a deadline, right? Everyone's been there with extremely tight deadlines. In the grand scheme of things, this is something that you really want to minimize because it will hurt the rest of whatever you are in pursuit of. All right, so that is my logic on why you should not do any of these bad habits, how they play into one another, snowball into becoming a larger effect, and why these bad habits then will extremely affect the likelihood of your success in the goal that you are in pursuit of. Thanks for listening. Like and subscribe, and leave a comment if you think that, I'm wrong about anything or you think a little bit differently. Thanks for listening, and until next time.